So we're here today at Grafton High School with Miss Julie Laurie, hearing about her retirement, and it's an opportunity for us to get to know you better. And so we have a couple questions we want to ask you. The first being, how long have you been in our district, and what was your role?
Well, I started my school psychology career in 1982, so I've been a school psychologist for 40 years, but I came to Grafton 20 years ago, so this is the end of my 20th year.
Awesome. And what is your favorite memory or story from your time in our district?
I don't have anything, one specific story, but when I started in Grafton, there were two psychologists serving the entire district, and we were both housed at Grafton Elementary. So our service delivery model looked a little different than what we have right now. We did not serve specific schools, but rather we served specific students on a case-by-case basis. So we alternated referrals essentially. So that placed us in all 5 buildings every single year, which was really fun. I traveled the entire district with test kits and files in my trunk for probably the first, 8 to 10 years of my time here. Well, perhaps it's not as efficient as what we do right now. It did give me a long view, gave the two of us a long view on what was happening in the district, which I think was really helpful. It showed parents that we knew about programming. If we were working with an elementary student, for instance, and they were worried about what was going to happen at the middle and the high school, we had real world knowledge about what was going on there. We could reassure them about staff members. I got to know staff members in every single building, and I think I developed a level of trust and respect and connection that I continue to have today, I believe.
Great.
And then the other thing is, because I spent so much of my time in the Grafton Elementary building, I got to know families pretty well, and traveling into Woodview and Kennedy. And so being at Grafton High School right now is super fun, because I will be at a meeting with a family, some students, and I will pull out my psych file, and there will be a picture of a student from maybe when they were 4 or 5 years old, a profile picture from Skyward that I will have printed at the time. I had printed at the time, and it's in my file. Or sometimes I will pull out a drawing of an animal or a rainbow that they made for me in kindergarten, and parents love to see those pieces of that history, and
Sure.
Students don't like it so much, but the parents really love that. So I really feel like I've been on a school journey with these students their entire career, my entire career here. I've known Jordan, like I said, a long time. I've known families that the kids are now in their early 20s, and it's been a really wonderful experience. I know about their accomplishments, I know about their struggles, and get them at a really deep level.
Mm-hmm. What will you miss most about working in our district in retirement?
So that's a really tough question.
Yeah.
I will miss the first day of school in September. I believe it's the very best day of the school year. Supplies are new, attitudes are fresh, everybody has a positive attitude, so that I will miss that very much. I will miss working with my psych team. I've worked with wonderful psych team members throughout my whole tenure here. There were 2, and then there were 3, and now there are 4, so that's increased. The mental health team, my special ed team, just really fabulous people who are very committed and dedicated and really inspirational some days. I will actually miss the GHS admin team, because they have allowed me a lot of autonomy to create a role here that probably suits my personality, and they basically allow me to do what I believe is the right thing to do. So we may not always see circumstances from the same perspective, but I always feel heard and respected, and I really thank them for that. I will miss being sort of the older and wiser, maybe school mom to some of my younger colleagues. I take a lot of pride in helping people to remember that boundaries are really important, that work-to-life balance is really important. We really can't help others if we don't take care of ourselves first, and this is the kind of profession where we're giving a lot all day, and if you don't have good boundaries, you can really experience burnout. And so that's been a role that I feel like has been good for me and good for them as well. I will miss connections with students and parents and the faculty. I don't know if I mentioned the students, but boy, there are some that I'm going to hold in my heart really for the rest of my life. And then I will miss working with the future. That's every day you get to work with the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Tell us, what are your plans in retirement?
Okay, so having done this job for 40 years, what I will do in retirement is really easy. I'm not sure who I will be, but what I will do is really easy. So I have a new granddaughter. Her name is Lily, and she's 7 months old. And she lives in the Chicago area, so I'm already making plans for a grandma boot camp.
Awesome.
Every summer her parents are going on a vacation, so we're looking at some fun things to do, like every summer in a boot camp. I took my own kids on mystery rides as sort of a family tradition, and I'm already creating some of those thoughts of what we could do with her to have those memories of mystery rides with her grandparents for when she's older. We have 3 grown kids, and they all live in the Chicago area, so trips to Chicago I see are on my horizon. Our youngest is getting married in a year, and so that's kind of a lot of fun things happening. I'm someone who loves food. I think food is love, and so I plan to cook for and with people whenever I can. I would love to work for an organization or volunteer for an organization that would maybe help families create a connection with each other through food and through cooking. That would be something I'd like. I've hosted a pie camp with a friend where we had some friends come in and we provided the ingredients and everyone went home with a cherry pie.
Oh.
And that was super fun. I would do that with pasta. I love to make fresh pasta. I'm a youper, and so I could have a pasty camp if I wanted or whatever, but I would love to cook with people because it makes me happy. I completed the Master Gardener class during right before the pandemic started. I did that with a friend, and so I've been volunteering at Advocates of Ozaki, and they meet during the school year on a weekday, so I can never join my cohort for those events. But next year in the fall, when they're meeting on a Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday morning, I can join them and do that. I do love to garden. I love to be outside, those kinds of things. So one thing I'd like to do right away in the fall is take a car trip around Lake Michigan, and I've lived in this area not all of my life, but majority of my life. But I would like to do a fall trip because in the school calendar
Sure.
you really can't do a
Yep.
fall trip. But
Yep.
I'd like to see the leaves and
Yep.
see all the
Change.
small little places around Lake Michigan, and then I'd like to read more novels, which I have not done as much because life is really busy. So our own kids love to travel, and so we will travel with them, but I like to stay home. So I'm a quilter, so I do quilting. I made that quilt on the wall, and I scrapbook, and I just have a lot of projects at home that I will enjoy just being at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I know that when I came here 6 years ago, you had transitioned to the high school, and this 20-year journey you've had in our district. You've been well respected. People speak very highly of you. So on behalf of our entire district, we do wish you well. It sounds like you have some
Thank you.
great hobbies, some opportunities to spend time with family and be a
Yep.
grandma, and
Yep.
we're happy for you, and we want to thank you for all the work you've done in our district.
Thank you.